Players like Ronaldo come along once in a generation. He's an artist who possesses that extra quality of genius, a supreme exponent.
Then Ronaldo, there's that change of feet from Ronaldo! That is why he is worth so many millions.
Voted the world's best player on 3 occasions, the Brazilian superstar is a living legend. Bento Ribeiro, a poor suburb on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro. These are the dusty streets where Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima grew up. Born in September 1976, he played his first professional game when only 14 years old and made his debut for Cruzeiro just 2 years later. After scoring 58 times in 60 appearances, the buck-toothed teenager was a name known throughout the world by the time he was 17. In March 1994, the precocious striker played his first international for Brazil against arch-rivals Argentina.
Juninho. Oh, stood on. That's a beautiful ball. Ronaldo! England.
Following a brilliant debut, he was hailed as the nation's greatest talent since Pelé. A few months later, he was named in the World Cup squad. Although he didn't play in the team that won the final in the USA, Ronaldo's career was about to take off. Seeking to escape Rio and prove himself in Europe, he followed the footsteps of Romario and joined PSV Eindhoven in August 1994. The Dutch side paid a club record of nearly $5 million for the Brazilian. The easygoing striker with a gap-toothed smile was an immediate sensation in Holland, ending his first of 3 seasons with PSV as the league's top scorer with 30 goals.
Ronaldo! The injection of pace! Goal! Ronaldo for PSV!
It was only a matter of time before Europe's bigger clubs started chasing the emerging superstar, and, having coached him at PSV, Barcelona manager Bobby Robson was well aware of his outstanding potential. Ronaldo was a key figure in Robson's plan for success at Barcelona, and he persuaded the club's president to buy the 20-year-old striker for a world record fee of $20 million. Goals at an inconceivable pace, his signature celebration, arms spread wide like wings doing his human aeroplane victory lap, became a regular sight in the Primera Liga. Bobby Robson's gamble paid off handsomely as Ronaldo finished the season with a club record of 34 goals.
The FIFA World Player of the Year for 1996, Ronaldo.
To cap off his sensational introduction to top-flight football, the Brazilian striker became the youngest footballer to win FIFA's coveted World Player of the Year award.
The título João Blanche é Ronaldo.
However, after just 1 season with Barcelona, Ronaldo became embroiled in one of the longest transfer disputes in the history of the game. In his contract with Barcelona, there was a get-out clause stating that he could move for $26 million. The Italian club Inter Milan were willing to pay, but naturally Barcelona didn't want to lose their star player and claimed that the buyout was valid only for domestic transfers. Eventually, FIFA was called in to settle the stalemate in negotiations. The prolific striker's move to Inter Milan was completed when FIFA ordered the Italian club to pay an additional $1.8 million to Barcelona. The total fee of 28 million was a new world record. After months of wrangling, Ronaldo received an amazing reception on his arrival. Seen as the answer to Inter Milan's striker problems, fans greeted the Brazilian superstar like the new messiah. There were some who doubted his ability to succeed against the tough Serie A defenders, but they were proven wrong. In the first 8 games of the season, Ronaldo scored 9 times, including a hat-trick.
Yes, it's gone in! And Ronaldo gives into the lead on the night.
With 34 goals and a UEFA Cup winners' medal, Ronaldo was a sensation in his first season.
The World Player of the Year 1997 is Ronaldo.
Named European Footballer of the Year, the gifted forward also won FIFA's World Player of the Year award for the second consecutive year, an unheard-of achievement. With the world at his feet, the sky was the limit for the player known as the Phenomenon. The boy from Brazil was the new king of world football. Brazil went into the 1998 World Cup in France as the defending champion and overwhelming favourite, with Ronaldo their most charismatic star. Following on from his brilliant debut season for Inter, the tournament was supposed to be the highlight of his great career.
Can he slip Ronaldo through? And it's in!
Well,
and the revival is on.
That's the first little glimpse of that man's talent. He's got great feet, unbelievable acceleration there.
The story of what happened to Ronaldo prior to the final has never been satisfactorily revealed. Did he really experience a severe convulsion on the afternoon of the match, as claimed by Roberto Carlos? And if so, what caused it? Was it the effect of an injection prescribed to dull the pain in knees that had already, at the age of 21, been subjected to terrible abuse? Or was it an emotional problem stemming from the tremendous pressure created by celebrity and commercial interests? After Brazil lost the final 3-0 to France, controversy swirled around Ronaldo. The World Cup fiasco was the beginnings of a dark period for Ronaldo, whose history of knee problems goes back to when he played in Holland. From late 1998, he was plagued by a series of serious injuries that would severely curtail his career for nearly 4 years. As a result, the life of the most celebrated footballer on the planet consisted almost entirely of operations, long convalescences, and cruelly abortive comebacks. Back in Italy, he started the following season in good form, but just a few months into the new Italian season, tragedy struck on a greasy San Siro pitch. At first, Inter Milan denied their star striker needed surgery, but 2 weeks later, he underwent an operation on a ruptured kneecap tendon at a clinic in Paris. The prognosis was that he would be out of action for between 4 and 5 months, but Ronaldo was determined to return to the game that he loved and had given him so much. But it wasn't all bad news for the boy wonder from Brazil. A few weeks after the operation, he married model Milena Dominguez in a modest ceremony at his mother's house in Rio de Janeiro. For football fans around the world, it was good to see Ronaldo smiling again, following the news that he'd be out of action for several months. And there was another piece of good news. The newlywed couple were expecting a baby. 3 months after surgery, Ronaldo's recovery was progressing well. Under the supervision of physiotherapist Nilton Petroni, he endured a rigorous rehabilitation program in the mountains near Rio. Slowly but surely, the strength in his damaged knee gradually returned. He started running again. Slow, tentative steps at first. Soon he was able to pull on a pair of boots for the first time since the operation. It was an important and morale-boosting moment. With the eyes of the world upon him, it was obvious the anguish and anxiety of this frustrating recovery period was disappearing. Knowing that a return to the game he loved was imminent, the boyish grin was back. Back in Europe, a few weeks later, there was good news from his surgeon. was time to rejoin his teammates at Inter Milan. More training and practice matches were needed to rediscover that magic touch, but within a month, the world's best player was ready to make his long-awaited return to football.
Quindi sono contento, stanno andando
In the days leading up to his scheduled comeback, there was more good news when his wife Malena gave birth to a son. For Ronaldo, the dark clouds had lifted and the sun was shining again. After nearly 5 months out of action, Ronaldo jogged onto the pitch as a substitute in the Italian Cup final against Lazio. The months of painstaking and frustrating rehabilitation was suddenly a distant memory. 6 minutes later, he launched one of his trademark weaving runs on goal, and then he fell to the ground, clutching his right knee, screaming in agony. Nobody could believe the tragic moment they just witnessed. When Ronaldo's knee collapsed, it was more than a blow for his club Inter Milan and his country, Brazil. The whole world felt his pain.